Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus, Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a relaxed review. Yes, God, for Living Single, Season 1, Episode 2. So, yeah, we doing this relaxed review style because, honey, I had a plentiful weekend. Enjoyed myself, had a good old time, and my vibe is just real breezy right now. And also, I'm still like energetically rejuvenating. So, I'll be doing this review laying down and in a much more relaxed tone of voice as well. Make sure you caught up on all the other videos and everything. And I ain't gonna waste no more time. Go ahead and get right into this relaxed review. So, the name of this episode is I'll Take Your Man. So, we start off the episode with the girls in the bathroom, specifically the girls that live together, Regine, Khadijah, and Sinclair. And they're in there grooming themselves, putting their hair in protective styles and shaving and plucking and waxing and all that. And Sinclair is scared to get waxed because, it could be some pain that come with it, understandable and such. And Regine is all for it. She like, you got to do what you got to do, no pain, no gain. It just is what it is. And Khadijah bears the question, like, why do we even have to do all of this, for the satisfaction of men? I bet they ain't doing all of this for us. Like, talking about she can't wait till she get married so she can just let herself go. Oh, child. And Sinclair is like, all of this for some men that we don't even have. Now, Regine, is trying to like balance the scales. And she's like, they do certain things. They trim their nails and, just a few other things and whatnot. And Khadijah's like, they trim their nails with their teeth. And so this is the 90s. And I do believe that the 90s was more of a time where the men were really trying to like emphasize their masculinity more than like during the 80s and some of the 70s and some of the 60s and shit like that, where a lot of men were like, wearing quote unquote women's clothing, painting their nails, doing their hair like in the styles of, what women would usually do. And I often hear people say, I think it's like during the 80s, maybe during the 80s, people would say like you couldn't really tell the men from the women because everybody was wearing everybody's clothes and everybody's styles. Like, it's very androgynous time versus during the 90s. So I would say that probably during the 90s, the men weren't doing a whole lot of, but I feel like, their skincare regimens and shit was on point. A lot of them. It's probably getting some manicures, like Regine was hitting that, all that, I also had heard something that women shaving started like basically due to capitalism. Something about, I think it's the Gillette company, don't quote me, but I think it's the Gillette company of razors. But if not Gillette, it's some company of razors that said to have been like struggling business wise, so they started targeting their advertisement to women, and that's what really started encouraging women to start shaving, and what like kind of started the shame of body hair when it came to women. Because also shit, like during the 60s and 70s, women having body hair and stuff like that was, seen as desirable. So it's not difference in time periods and such make a huge difference. And it's so interesting, the herd mentality that's associated with that. I also feel like what Khadijah said about, can't wait to get married so she can just let herself go. On one hand, it's like, that unconditional acceptance that you would want to come with marriage. But at the same time, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like you get married and now you don't care about how you look because now you got the person or whatever. I feel like what you did to get it, you got to do it to keep it, and this, male censoring. You should want to look your best for yourself. You know, being attractive and desirable to and for yourself. And of course, inevitably, if you want to couple or, have romantic relationships and stuff like that, then yeah, to some degree, you will have to be satisfying to the eye of your prospective person, but it shouldn't be just centered around that. It should start with your own satisfaction first and then let the rest just follow behind. And doing those types of tasks, those self-care tasks, the waxing, the shaving, and all of that, it can feel like a chore. And it is subject to feel like a chore if you're not doing it because it's just what you want to do. If you're doing it to get attention and approval from other people, and then it's going to especially feel like a chore if you're not getting the attention that you were intending to get from doing what you're doing. But yeah, honey, that was the little intro scene, and it ends off with Regine snatching the wax off of Sinclair's upper lip and sending her into a shrill of agonizing pain. And we get the theme, and then we back into the show. And let me just say this too real quick right there. Sinclair, girl, you stalling yourself out because you could already have Overton, and Overton probably wouldn't even care about no body hair or nothing like that. He seemed like the type of dude that would be attracted to a woman having, body hair and whatnot. And either way, he probably just wouldn't care because he really liked her, like talking about, like he already satisfied with what she putting down. So blame yourself, boo-boo, at this point. So yeah, opening back up with the official first scene of the episode, and we have Khadijah, Sinclair, and Max sitting on the couch watching TV. Seems like they watching a scary movie, and it's nighttime. I would assume that Regine is out on a date or something. Oh, okay then. They watching Basic Instinct. So Khadijah gets up talking about, I don't even know why we rented this movie. That woman was bugging. I mean, who would go into somebody's office in a business suit with no drawers on? And Max looking like, shit. I'll show you something. I believe it too. I could see Max doing that. So Khadijah looking at her like, yeah. I mean, besides you, Max, who would do that? Also wonder if this is the same set that they use for Martin, because the apartment and like something about the arrangement and all that looks similar. Anywho, continuing. So Sinclair still got her damn eyes covered, talking about, can I look now? And they're like, girl, it's over with. Like, get it together. She's like, yeah, good movie. Good movie. You don't even know what happened. So Regine comes on in from her date. Well, at least they, hear her entering the building. So they assume that she's back. And Matt's gonna say, well, yeah, she either back or y'all got rats. Could be a little both, huh? No tea, no shade. But yeah, so they want to know what's going on because they feel like it's a little early for her to be home already. So they eagerly rush up to go over to the door so they can listen through onto the other side and see what's being discussed and done, if anything. Looking out through the peephole and everything. And Khadijah like, man, we got to be like hella lonely to be up here eavesdropping and doing all this. Child, so they rush off because they see that Sinclair is about to, officially come in. But not Sinclair. I always do this, y'all. They see that Regine is about to come in with her date, and Sinclair is still at the door just peeping. And about to get hit with the door and everything. Just totally not subtle. Not incognito at all. So, Regine and her date come out. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm so sorry. But Regine and her date come on in, and Regine looking good, girl. She got on this cute little strapless black dress, cute necklace going on. It's real dramatic. It ain't real dramatic, but it's pretty dramatic and sparkly and everything. She got on one of her good wigs, some cute jewelry. Your girl is styling and profiling, and she got this like mid-sized, kind of clean cut dude coming in behind her. He also looked like he could be a little shifty at the same time, like like he would get caught up in some gambling schemes or something. But that's beside the point. They come in, and Sinclair trying to act like she was trying to like strategize some interior design or whatever, talking about, so yeah, the piano would be right there and this would be over here, and they not buying that shit. So Regine go ahead and introduce them to him, and she like, this is Charles, the assistant DA Charles, and she introduced him to them, you know, them her roommates, and point out that Max is there, but she don't live there. She just think that she lived there. She might as well live there. But anyhow, he says Maxine Shaw from Evans, Bell and Associates. Oh yeah, because district attorney, that's what DA stands for, district attorney. So yeah, he's also a lawyer. So he recognizes Max as, you know, a top-notch lawyer in the game as well. And Max is totally elated by the interaction. And he like, you know, I saw you try a case last week. You was tough. I thought you was actually gonna hit the judge. And she said, so did I. So they're like, yeah, nice to meet you. He said, I ain't recognize you at first. Well, and Sinclair talking about, well, yeah, the peephole makes everybody look warped. Go hush. So Regine really not feeling this interaction between Max and her boy Charles. And she rushes him on out the door. And he like, wait a minute, is we still on for Saturday? And she like, yeah, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, love, whatever, what have you. Get to stepping. So as he heads out, they all complimenting her on her pickings when it comes to Charles, saying he nice and clean cut, his nails look good, hair look good, nails done, hair done, everything did, nails done, hair done, everything did. Oh, he fancy, huh? Yeah. And Max say like, yeah, he's a real good lawyer and all that. And Khadijah gonna say, yeah, I wouldn't mind sneaking a peek at them briefs. How vulgar. But Regine is like, well, I appreciate that, and sorry to disappoint, but Charles ain't the one. And Khadijah asks her, girl, what is you talking about? He got money and status. What more could you want? Like, technically, you should be in love. And she said, I know, but Charles has no je ne sais quoi, no joie de vivre. I don't know how to say that. Joie de vivre. Y'all know what I'm saying. She's saying he ain't got no oomph, he ain't got no swag, he ain't got no riz. Which I can see that. But, so, continuing on, Max is like, girl, that's what we here for, to cultivate them, to coax them into being what we want them to be. You see, a good man is like fine wine. It ages properly with time, okay? They start out like grapes, and our job is to stomp on them. She said, and then to put them in the dark until they become something better that we wouldn't mind having dinner with. I am screaming. Now, I do feel like it's a time and a place to perhaps date a fixer-upper, you know, if you're that type, and y'all, you know, balance it out and weed out certain potential insecurities and things of that nature. House or never. Ain't nothing wrong with you wanting them to come already fixed up for the most part, you know. And y'all can go through any maintenance that's required as y'all go. Me personally, I prefer for them to come already fixed up, and then any maintenance needed in the process, we'll handle that. I don't want no fixer-upper. I feel like there will be a lack of respect there. I'm just going to put it like that. But they continue on in this conversation, and Regine basically say that she can't wait that long. So me and her on the same page. She would rather them come already fixed up for the most part. She's talking about she need her thirst quenched now, and I heard the fuck out of that. Period. So Khadijah asks her, why you always got to have a man? And Regine said, honey, well, some people paint. So basically, it's a fun little hobby pastime for her. And I do feel like, you know, when somebody always feels the need to be in a relationship, always feels the need to have some sort of romantic companion that it can be a sign of like codependency or whatever. But I also understand that if you are a social butterfly, then dating might be a hobby. It's one you got to be careful with because people be peopling. But I understand what she's saying. I'm fucking with what she's saying. Now, we get to the next scene, and Overton is showing Sinclair some things with a toaster. And he's talking about, now, to you, this may seem like a simple burnt bagel, but we know it as the handyman's nightmare. See, 1 minute, just toasting a bagel, get stuck, overheats, short side the circuit, next thing you know, you burn the whole building down. Oh my gosh. Sinclair say, oh my gosh, I never knew that toasting could be such a responsibility. Well, yeah. And Overton says, not too many people do. Baby, I know I had a couple of instances where some crumbs, flutter where they ain't really supposed to be, and it's almost a whole travesty. So, yeah, dog. But Sinclair talking about, is there anything that you can't fix, Overton? And he said, nope. That's why I put an ad in the paper to expand my handyman empire beyond this mere brownstone. I heard that he ambitious, okay, overachiever. And just at that moment, Khadijah and Max come on in, and Khadijah telling her, that's the last time I let you go shopping with me. Why you have to flirt with every man at the market? And she like, baby, you ain't complaining about this free meat that I pulled up in here, is you? Okay, that's right. And Khadijah gonna say, you and Regine are just alike, always trying to turn some man's head. Max said, excuse me, honey, me and Regine are nothing alike. Honestly, I beg to differ. They are alike in certain ways, like a mug, I ain't gonna lie. It's that flirtatious. Both of them kind of got super freak energy, I'm not gonna lie. I know Max is seen more as the freak. Like Max seemed like she would be into some BDSM, dominatrix type shit, that type stuff. But Regine seemed like she a closet freak. Like she ain't gotta do like all the extra exhibitionist sexapades, but that she do is wet, nasty, and sloppy. That's just what they give, child. But they both know they loves them some Menzies, and hell, the Menzies seem to love them, so fuck it. Get it how you live. But Max say she just looking for a good time. Regine is looking for a sponsor. Ooh, bye. At that point, Kyle comes in with the newspaper, and Max talking about, oh my goodness, these paper boys are getting older and uglier. And they have their little exchange. He's talking about, oh, you want me so bad, it hurts, don't it? This thinly veiled attempt at covering up your animalistic attraction to me. Oh, sir, please go sit down. Please. I like this necklace that he got on, though. Anywho, so it goes over to Overton, and they discussing the ad that Overton had put in the paper to showcase his handyman business and everything. And they realize, and Kyle is getting a good chuckle out of this, honey. They realize that they put his ad in the personals section, right in the part that deals with like the dating, and he referred to the particular section that he's in is the swingles section. So swinging singles. freak nasty. So his tag is expert handyman, here to satisfy your needs. So with it being in that section like that, it seemed like he is the pussy plumber. And all in the midst, his beeper start beeping. And he's talking about he's scared because he don't know what these folks want. He don't know what service they finna call him to handle. My gosh, today. So he walks on to the phone slowly, and it's about to make the call. And as he does that, Max walks on around Kyle, and it's like, so what is Mr. Loverman doing pursuing the personals? And Kyle says, baby, I was looking for a much needed date for you. Nigga, please. Now Overton is over on the phone, selling himself and his innocent manner. So he said, yeah, yep, expert handyman will service your needs. And I guess they start talking real freaky to him or whatever. And he like, wait a minute. You want me to what? I'm sorry, but shouldn't your husband be fixing that? And Sinclair says, maybe her husband's not handy like you. Oh, goodness. So he trying to figure out his life, but he said, I'm sorry, lady, the ad was misplaced, and I'm sure we violated some sort of ECC rule, some type of FCC rule, okay? Mm-mm. He ain't trying to go down that road. And he like, we should not be talking like this. Goodbye. So he was done for on that. We'll see how that goes. Regine comes in and she looking tired and through. She looking over it. And she said, well, I just gave Charles his walking papers. Oh, it is such a drain breaking up with someone so delicately. You know the routine. And I love how her and Kyle, I said they are a lot alike. And they sit up and they mirror each other in this moment. Well, show their parallels in this moment as they go through the rundown in unison and even with like similar body language. So, like I said, she's like, you know the routine. It's me. It's not you. Of course, we'll still be friends. Blah, blah, blah. Cry, cry, cry. Hug, hug, hug. Okay, bye. A shame. So, this leads Max to being inquisitive. And she asks, were there any hard feelings? And Regine says, not on my part. So Max say, so he free. And Khadijah say, Max, stop it. Wrong road. And Max like, what? What's the problem? Khadijah said, honey, I know that look. It's the same look you gave to the butcher 2 hours ago. And Max is like, ouch. I know, right? But Khadijah telling her, do not go after Charles. Now, Overton's beeper is going off again. And Max starts to say, look, Khadijah, relax. Regine don't care. Regine, do you care if I give Charles a call? And Regine say, no, girl, go ahead. Call. And why do we got so much meat? Now, Overton is back over on the phone and he like, ma'am, you breathing kind of hard. Is everything okay? You want to call me back after you catch your breath? Now, what do y'all think that lady was doing on their phone? Now, the next scene is Sunday, and everybody is getting ready to go to church. Overton shows up at the door, and he like, girl, I am ready for church today. Take it from me, Khadijah. Do not try to expand your business by putting an ad in the paper. She said, you still popular with the pervs, huh? And he said, as ever. So I guess he's ready to get to church so that he can repent and cleanse his spirit from all the nastiness the hot mama's been trying to throw at him. So Sinclair suggested him to turn his beeper off. And he said, the second I do that, that's when somebody's tub overflows. Water drips through the floor, lands on the stove, puts somebody's pilot light out. Next thing you know, the whole damn building done blowed up. My gosh, today. Now, that shows his competency and also shows that he's an overthinker. But often overthinkers are highly competent. So there's that. Now, Regine come downstairs and she got on a cute low cut. It's not that low. Like, she's not showing a whole lot of cleavage or nothing. Her shoulders are partially out, but it's nothing too bad. Her skirt is about 2.5, maybe 3 inches above the knee. Granted, when she sit down, it's gonna rise up a little bit. The usher lady's probably gonna come through and hand her like a cloth to put over her knees or whatever. But I don't think it's that bad. But I am coming from a different generation and time period, and we just be different. We just be different, honey. I'm gonna leave it at that. We just be different. So, especially compared to the things that I done seen from my generation going to church, Regine looks quite wholesome. She does. But Khadijah tells her that her outfit to church is between her and her God. But Regine seems satisfied with herself. And I'm not against it. But Max shows up at the door, and she like, as soon as Max get there, everybody like, okay, we ready. We can head on there. And Max said, pause, dot your life. I'm actually gonna be going to church this Sunday and to brunch in the park with Charles. Ooh, ooh. So this alerts Regine to snap her neck on around and look at her like, oh, Charles. Now here's the awkwardness. And Sinclair being oblivious, talking about, oh, both of you are dating guys named Charles. A mess. So Khadijah gonna say, you just destined to be a step behind, ain't you? So Max said, baby, you told me that you was okay with this. You still fine with it, right? And Regine said, yeah, I'm fine. And so Max is like, cool, so who got stockings? And Sinclair give her some stockings, but she's talking about she want the egg bag that's inside them. Girl, what the hell? She talking about she make Christmas ornaments. Okay, girl. So Jones comes on in and he said, hey, Max, I thought I'd find you here. Of course, you would. And he also finds Regine standing up there next to the door and everything. He speaks to her and she like, hey, hi, Charles, all that. And it's awkward, but he just standing there rubbing his hands together. He said, awkward moment, huh? You don't say. But Regine chuckles and says, no, not at all. Maxine kind of sitting there looking a little crazy. And he's talking about, well, Max, you ready to go? She said, sure, if you are. All right, then let's go. Regine talking about, say a prayer for me, smooches. Turns around and closes the door and calls Max a tramp. Po thing. Okay, so thus far, do I think Max is wrong? I'm gonna have to say no. And the reason why is because she did actually ask Regine if she would have a problem with it. Regine also acted like, she didn't really want the man in the first place. Like, she wasn't really digging him. He wasn't her style of dude. He wasn't tickling her fancy and all that. That's what she was giving. And so, like I said, Max asked. She said it was cool. And boom, pow, shakalow. Like, and now, a lot of people do have the standard and or, the boundary or whatever that they would never want to date somebody that has dated or messed around with one of their friends. And that's totally understandable too, because it can be awkward inevitably and all of that good stuff. I just also feel like it's one thing if your friend dates your ex-husband. Now, that's out of line. Way out of line. If your friend dates your ex, long time boyfriend, that's different. That's crossing boundaries. All the while, I feel like also, you never know what could happen. How they say one man's trash is another man's treasure. Okay? So, it may not have worked for you and that person. It may work with your friend and that person. And it don't have to be all of this, hoopla, betrayal and all of that. Communication is key. Communication is key. I do feel like time makes a difference as well. So I will say, like, in this situation, Max did like hot real quick. She could have dated him without integrating him into the friend group so fast. Like, she could have done that on her own time, in private. Don't tell them nothing yet, because either way, Regine was just with him yesterday. And now here you are today with him. So even though she may not, give a fuck about him for real, she may just have a side eye towards you because of how quick you went about it and how inconsiderate it seems to be that you just already whirling him in everybody's face already. So yeah, not to mention, like, when it comes to like the marriage thing and a long time boyfriend thing, again, time makes a difference. Your friend is fucking with your ex-husband or your ex-boyfriend just days, weeks, or months after y'all broke up. That's suspect. But if some years have gone by, like a good amount of years have gone by, and they so happen to meet elsewhere and form a bond that grows into something, again, communication is key. House and never. What they say? don't let your boyfriend keep you from finding your husband. But I'm gonna rephrase it. Don't let your friend keep you from finding your husband. Yeah. Because it's just, and I know that may sound crazy for a lot of people, but we don't own nobody. Everybody has their own free will. And true love is undying, you know? You may not, okay, so when you break up with somebody, it don't mean that you don't love them. The love that you have for them just changes. How you show love for them just changes. So when y'all together, you show them love by, you know, being loyal to them, keeping them around, you know, doing what you need to do to keep them around. But once y'all decide that y'all going separate ways, you love them by letting them go and respecting their boundaries and continuing to, you know, wish the best for them. And if you truly love them, you want them to be happy regardless, you know? So there's that. And it don't mean you won't have no extra like residual feelings on the side or whatever. It's just honoring the fact that you don't own them, and it wouldn't be fair for you to get in the way of something that is truly making them happy, you know? So yeah. Definitely easier said than done. But all that to say, just as is on the surface, I don't feel like Max is wrong for dating Charles. And I do feel like, you know, she asked Regine. Regine said it was cool. So that's that. But I do feel like Max should have waited before she got to telling them about her dates and what she gonna do with him, and also bringing him around, because he literally was just with Regine. Just with her. Tusk. Now, we get to the next scene, and the girls are in the living room. Max comes on over, and this initiates a conversation, a dispute, a debate, if you will, between Max and Regine. And I feel like this is very well written and well done, because their discussion literally, you know, kind of goes along as to what I was just saying. So Max comes in, it's like, hey, y'all, what's good? What we doing tonight? And all that. And Regine said, baby, I know you did not think that you could just come up in here and sashay your man stealing behind into my house in peace. So Max is like, so is this about Charles? And Sinclair states the obvious that Regine is very upset with Max. And Regine is like, yeah, you just couldn't wait to sink your teeth into my man, huh? And Max is like, yo, man, you chewed him up and spit him out. What is it giving? And I asked you, you told me I could, and to call him. And Regine's talking about, no, I told you that you could call him. I didn't tell you to call him. Ain't no way you could have thought that that was a yes. Now, Regine, you tripping a little bit. You tripping. You tripping, honey. So yeah. And Max is like, baby, I don't understand why you tripping, because you didn't even like him like that. And Regine says, you know, some of what I was saying. So they both are saying the things that I was just saying. Whereas Max did ask, and Regine said it was okay. Howsoever, as Regine goes on to state, you were supposed to let it cool down some. You were supposed to give it, you know, some days, weeks, months, if you will. Okay? Consider how long me and him dated and give it a cool down. Don't just hop straight in the pot and bring him all around here carrying on hanky-panky. Like, so yeah, that part I totally get where Regine is coming from, especially being the fact that their lives are already very integrated, very intimate and shit. Like, 3 of the girls of the friend group live in one home together. They all stay in the same complex, and then Max be over there basically like she lived there. So you would think that, you know, you give it a minute. It's like y'all go out to eat and your friend have leftovers. You ain't had no leftovers. And true enough, you may ask her, you know, can you have some of her leftovers? And she gonna tell you, yeah, right? But still have some consideration to the fact that she may want a little piece. She may want you to save her some, and or have some consideration, give it some time, give her the opportunity to really show that she don't have no plans for them leftovers, and then eat the leftovers. You know, there was a lack of tender love and care and consideration for Regine's feelings in this equation. Now again, Regine can be overly classy, for lack of better terms. So it can be hard to read her. Versus Max, who is very transparent and direct. It's easy to know what's going on with Max without her having to even say a whole lot, you know? So yeah, Max ain't really trying to hear what she's saying though. Max is feeling like, based off their environment, New York in the 90s, ain't no rules to dating. You just gotta make sure that you protect yourself at all time, okay? Keep a stun gun on your side of the bed. Have about 4-5 padlocks on your door, you know? Get it how you live. And Regine said, baby, that is the dumbest logic that I have ever heard. No wonder you can't win a case like talking about. Now, Regine, you got to pump your brakes and back it up. Because Max just won a case last episode. She had won a case. And Charles already doted on her at how good she is in the courtroom, okay? So don't lie. Okay, state your case. But don't lie. And I do also get what Max is saying, because it's also like I just said, it's a big old world, you know. Don't nobody own nobody. It's a whole lot of people, you know. So one man's trash is another man's treasure in a lot of cases. It just still don't mean that you don't have to be considerate of other people's feelings at the same time. So they both are right. And if they could just meet in the middle with it, we'd be cooking with grease. But Max goes on to tell her, baby, I win plenty, and at least I got a job. What's your job, huh? What you do? Shopping. Regine said, baby, I am a buyer for a boutique. Max said, shopping. Regine said, baby, well, you need to find somebody to shop for your raggedy non-dressing behind. Baby. Now, I must say, don't lie, okay? You doing your big one or whatever, Regine, okay? That was a read. House of Never. The best reads are rooted in truth. Max is not a bad dresser. She just dresses differently from you. But she's not a bad dresser at all. So, you get a half a point for that. Now, honey, the conversation is starting to get heated and loud. And Max says, baby, this is ridiculous. I know you are not about to let some man come in between our friendship. And Regine starts saying, no, absolutely not. Because we don't have no friendship. So at that point, Kyle walks in real swiftly, real smooth, real quiet, walks over to the window and shuts it. And he proceeds to walk back out, and he stops at the door and says, oh yeah, and the lady in 3B thinks Max is right. Ooh, and ooh, tisk. And I will say, between the two, I think Max is more right. While both of them have valid points, both of them are right, Max is more right to me. Because, Miss Ma'ams, you're an adult. So, if you had some specific rules that you wanted to be implemented as it concerns Max pursuing, you know, your leftovers, you should have communicated that. And when she first came over with the church thing, you could have been pulled her to the side and been like, hey, I know I told you it's cool to date him or whatever, but I'm just kind of not feeling you like flaunting him in my face like talking about, like, we was literally just together yesterday. Like, what is that? Like, are you my friend? Are we locked in? Why you stepping this way? You know, it give a little suspect. Like I said, I can understand why Regine may be side-eyeing Max. But all the while, communication is key. Now, in the next scene, it's breakfast time, and Regine and Khadijah are in the kitchen doing their thing. And Regine is trying to pull Khadijah into her mess. Talking about, can you believe the way that Max is running around here, swooping up under my leftovers and carrying on? Must be a desperate, miserable woman. Can you believe that? Well, I, in fact, can believe it. Because she thirsty. Just a thirst bucket. And Khadijah ain't giving her no energy. She ain't giving her no type of response. So, Regine, now mind you, she's speaking in this very delicate, you know, high tone or whatever, but her body language is a bit sporadic and aggressive. The way she handling the things that she handling, like the plates, the bowls, the cups, and all that. So yeah, big passive aggressive. So that's also pinpointing to me that when it comes to Regine, you got to pay attention to her body language. Her body language speaks much louder than her words, which is true for, most people. But I mean, like, she doesn't have a concept of manipulating her body language. Like, she can put on this sweet little voice and, you know, put on a mask and all of that. But her bodily mannerisms and all of that will effortlessly tell on her. Because, like, some people, they can mask their body language by standing up straight or, doing something with their posture to correlate with their words. But Regine doesn't have a concept of that. So, yeah. So she started telling Khadijah, so you're telling me that I'm being ridiculous and that I'm tripping and all this and that and the third. And Khadijah says, baby, I'm not telling you anything. So Regine basically is like, well, look, somebody's got to talk to her because she is out of control. And Khadijah said, well, honey, you just go right ahead and do that. I'm going to have my breakfast. And Regine says, no, she'll listen to you. And Khadijah said, baby, this is not my problem. This is not my business. I don't have no gripes with her. And Regine like, that ain't never stopped you before. And Regine got a point. Regine got a point. But I do also understand why in this particular case, Khadijah wants to stay out of it, because when it comes to women, especially your friends, having some sort of quarrel about a man, it's best that you just stay neutral. Don't say nothing. Don't pick no side. You know what I'm saying? Because that could easily go left. And that's what Khadijah is giving. So now Sinclair comes in and she like, oh, I just had the most magnificent night of sleep. No coffee for me. Don't need it. And Regine looks at her stiffly, turns her nose up and says, shut up. Now, Regine done sat up here and talked about Max calling her miserable and shit. But Regine is clearly misery loves company because she can't stand the sight of Sinclair feeling happy-go-lucky while she is feeling down. So Sinclair says, honey, you still up in here sappy over Charles. And Regine basically is like, yeah, I'm still a little salty, but I'm hopeful, okay? It's okay. Because when Khadijah talks to Max, everything is going to be peachy keen. And Khadijah says, honey, I just told you that I am not getting in the midst of y'all's mess. And Regine says, baby, what do you mean? Like, do you not care how this is affecting me? Like, what if it was your ex that she was going out having dates with and everything? And Khadijah said, she wouldn't do that. She know better. And I feel like she knows better because Khadijah has either already communicated it or she knows that she would communicate that straight up. Like, she, those are her boundaries. She ain't with it. If you her friend, she don't want you dating none of her exes, and that is well stated and well understood already. So Regine is like, see, that's what I'm talking about. She wouldn't do that to you. It's always me. Every time I break up with a dude, he ends up being Mr. Right for somebody else. And Khadijah tells her, honey, Charles has not changed. You just have an attachment to always wanting what you can't have. And Khadijah goes on to say, and maybe this whole thing is bothering you so much because you're being selfish and self-centered. And Regine is like, I know what this is. I know what this is about. It's all about me. Further proving the point. And saying, see, Max, she don't care nothing about y'all. She's just using him to get to me. She always wants what I have. And Khadijah says, like what? Regine says, make a list. Start with these, pointing at her very perky bosoms. So it's official. If it hasn't already been official with just these 2 episodes, Regine is a nut. And because she's self-centered and selfish in an excessive manner, she will inevitably feel like everything is about her. So she's going to take the lot of things personally. But I don't think that this is personal at all. I think Max just saw something she wanted and that it was available and she went after it. That's her nature. Max is often very much so in her masculine energy. And I feel like that's in her because she has that lawyer energy. She's destined to be a lawyer, clearly, and then also actively being a lawyer, which is, especially during that time, a male-dominated field. She has to operate in her masculine energy a lot of the time, which pursues. Masculine energy pursues. So she be ready to pounce. She be on the hunt. She be on the prowl, So again, I don't think it's personal. I think it's just Max's nature to go after what she wants. And the flip side of that is being the fact that it's not personal. It's kind of in an excessive state because Max may be a bit overactive in her masculine energy. Therefore, she's not considering Regine's feelings at all, and she's also not considering how the way she's gone about it could affect the entire friend group. She just sees what she wants and the fact that she can get it, and that's it. And that is where the problem lies. Even though it kind of takes a person like Max to humble somebody like Regine, because, like I said, Regine has some valid feelings, but Regine can also be very cutthroat and fuckless when it comes to other people's feelings. So now she's getting a dose of her own medicine. Now Overton runs in like he running from a pack of dogs or something, and they like, baby, is you good? What's wrong? Is everything all right? They give him some water and all that. What's going on? Tell us what done happened. So he guzzles the water and then says, well, what happened was I went on that call. Miss Harper, the one with that broken furnace, I get over there and she led me down into the basement. Then she kicked off her shoes, took off her robe, and started talking about light my fire, daddy. Ooh, ooh, oh, gosh. He just basically got sexually assaulted or sexually harassed or whatever. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Gosh. And it's a shame that those types of acts towards men is not really taken serious. It's often made as a joke. Now, granted, a lot of people don't take sexual abuse or anything like that serious in general, but it's like from two different perspectives. When it's women, they quick to say that the woman lying. Oh, she lying. You just want some attention. You just being dramatic. You just want some money, whatever. But when it's men, it's just a straight up joke. Like, people make it like it's just a straight up joke, and or they start questioning their sexuality. But it's so interesting because it's completely denied when it's women, but when it's men, they don't deny that it happened. They just find a way to like clown the man. Like I said, you either gay or you weak. How you let something like that happen to you? You a man, or you not man enough because you let something like that happen to you, like that shit. But yeah, honey, Kyle comes in and he like, yo, good morning, Overton. Man, you know Miss Harper? And Overton says, well, I've seen her naked, but I can't say that I know her though. So Kyle says, well, she certainly knows you. She called with a list of odd jobs that she wants you to take care of. And she said, if you don't come to her, she's coming to you. Now, baby, this is straight up abuse. This is harassment. He said, honey, just bury him in his blue suit. I cannot. Somebody get this man some security. No, that man said no. He said he is not the one. This is not the work. That lady needs to be locked up. Or taken for counseling or something. Because doing poor Overton like that, he didn't sign up for that. He didn't sign up for that. But y'all, Regine comes back in and goes over to Khadijah talking about, you saying that I'm self-centered and self-absorbed. Well, I'm not. I happen to have a problem. And nobody sleeps in this house until my problem is solved. Then she storms back out. Girl, you must think you Tanisha or somebody. I ain't get no sleep because of y'all. Y'all won't get no sleep because of me. No, ma'am. Pick your little stalk yourself up and throw you in a recycling bin. Sit down somewhere. So now we pick up at the Flavor magazine. Yeah. Flavor magazine headquarters. And Regine is on the phone with Khadijah, stressing her out. And Khadijah's telling her, baby, I do not want to talk about Charles no more. I understand, Regine. Get off the phone, Regine. Leave me alone, Regine. I am your friend, Regine. I am. Look, just go blow your nose, stuff your face, and get over it. Jeez. And she hang up on her. Now, Sinclair is shredding some files in the midst, honey. This scene gives when a mama is on the phone and the person on their phone is getting on their nerves, and then they finally get off the phone and they look up and their toddler is doing something that, one, they ain't got no business, two, that might cost them. So she rushes over to Sinclair because Sinclair is shredding some papers that she's not supposed to be shredding. Po Sinclair. Sinclair. And I feel like I said this in the first review. Make sure that you caught up. But if I mess around and call Regine Sinclair and Sinclair Regine, bear with me, okay? I'm gonna do my best to get it right. But Sinclair looks more like a Regine to me, and Regine looks more like a Sinclair to me. So when I see them, that's what my mind be latching on to. it be latching on to what I think ought to be the truth, as opposed to the actual truth. And I don't know if I just called Sinclair Regine a minute ago. I feel like I did, but that's just a further disclaimer, okay? Bear with me. So yeah, Sinclair shredding stuff she ain't got no business. So Khadijah is just being stressed out every which way. She like, girl, why are you shredding that? And Sinclair said, baby, you told me to shred the files. I'm shredding the files like you told me to. And Khadijah said, baby, those files are on my desk. And Sinclair told me, well, we might need some tape. Oh, goodness. So now Maxine still saying, looking damn good, honey. Damn good. And Khadijah is happy to see her. She said, Max, my mellow, my ace, check this out, honey. Let me talk to you. What's up with you and Charles, baby? And Max says, nothing. I like the guy. We have fun. You got a problem with that? And Khadijah said, no, not at all. But break up with him. And she said, for Regine. Max said, no, I am not going to let you indulge that spoiled little child. I'm having fun, and I'm not going to let her stop my fun. Regine is not going to get her way this time. Not this time. I am going to be the grown-up here, period. So, as I said, Max is like the perfect person to humble Regine. All the while, Max has a specific intent at this point to show Regine that she can't always have her way. So, it may not have started out as a personal thing, but now it has evolved into a personal thing where Max is doing the most now to basically prove a point. Next scene, we catch up with Sinclair, Regine, and Khadijah at home on the couch, supposed to be working out, but they basically just sitting on the couch watching the workout video, and Regine is looking all depressed. So Regine goes over to answer the door as Max was knocking, and she like, what y'all doing? Y'all in here pretending to work out again? So Regine gonna say, well, we can't all be scrawny like you. Now Max ain't scrawny, you a hater. But Chad, Max say, go ahead, snipe away. You gonna feel real salty when you find out what I just did. And Regine said, what? Did you start dating somebody else's boyfriend? Regine, stop acting like she went up under your nose and started dating him and fucking on him while y'all was dating. Like, stop the madness, because that's not what happened. So, Max then says, you won't believe how small you're going to feel. For your information, I broke up with Charles. So Regine said, have a seat, girl. And Khadijah said, my girl, you knew that was the right thing to do. And Max said, yes, it was, you know. And they're just rejoicing and how good and everything that's going to be. And Sinclair starts running off at the mouth saying, yeah, see, and all this time Khadijah been saying that you were petty and evil and too selfish to ever work this thing out. But I guess you proved her wrong, huh? A miss. So Regine says, well, Max, I am shocked, and it's not so often that a woman does something this nice for me. And so Max is like, yeah, okay, look, it's what had to be done now. Let's just move on with our lives after this. And Regine is like, no, see, I made this such a big deal, and it should have never been that serious. This whole time, you really had my best interest at heart and everything, and I was just doing the most on you. And she was like, you know, when you took Charles to church, that really hit me hard. The men in my life, they never take me that serious, but with you, it seemed deeper. But maybe it's just because I'm a little superficial and immature. And, you know, the other girls are trying to finish it off with petty and all that other good stuff. But y'all, Max looked like she got some other things on her chest that she ain't saying. But Regine goes on to say, look, I respect the way that you handled this. And I mean, the way you were able to just let Charles go and the way you came over here. And Max says, I lied through my teeth. And they're like, what? She said, yeah, girl, Charles dumped me. He gave me some tired, baby, it's me, not you crap. Talking about we can still be friends. Nah, he hit the Regine on her. So the Regine says, girl, I'm so sorry. You must be in such pain right now. But she grinning hard as fuck and prepared to laugh at her. But she's talking about, is there anything that I can do for you? And Max said, you can start by wiping that big ass smile off of your face. And Regine said, well, look, the bright side is you don't have to worry about enduring any more of those sloppy kisses of his. And Max is like, I actually like those. And she said what she couldn't stand was all that goop he put in his hair. He ruined her velvet sofa. She's sending the brother a bill, as she should. Pay me for my pain. Pay me for my time. You could say the bullshit because everything is mine. From the house in West Pond to the yacht in Belize. You could keep the sad face. Hand me them keys because you said and did it threw me way out track. But when a woman's fed up, no, it ain't no turning back. Only thing gonna make me smile and fulfill my satisfaction is seeing you status fucking you suffering while I'm relaxing. And Sinclair says, it's a good thing that Charles dumped you though, because what would have happened if he didn't? And Max says, honestly, I probably would have still kept seeing him. And Regine says, I probably would have stolen back. Oh, really? And it also makes me wonder if Charles was fine pursuing Max. Not to say that he wasn't genuinely attracted to her, but he probably also went along with it because he wanted to throw it in Regine's face and make her feel a type of way. So now that makes me wonder if Regine was misdirecting her anger for Charles towards Max. Because she might have actually felt like Charles was doing it to spite her. But because, Regine is a bit of a pick-me, she directed their energy towards Max and put it all off on Max. But Max says, I would have had to marry him to keep him away from you, huh? And they about to get started up. And Khadijah says, oh no. Pump your brakes. Back it up. We are not going back down that block again. We are not, okay? And so Regine says, you're right. But let's make it a rule right now that we will never do this again, okay? From this point forward, no occupant of this house or friend of an occupant of this house, okay, will date the ex or current boyfriends of said others. Cool, okay? That covers it, period. And Khadijah said, what if he really, really fine? Then Max said that all bets are off. Now, for the final scene, we catch up with Overton being sexually harassed by this lady. She looked good, but that's besides the point. He don't want her, and he banging on the girl's door trying to get Sinclair to come and save him, but to no avail. Nobody is answering for him. Nobody is answering. So he just left out there to be ravished by that lady. Poe Overton. Now, Poe Sinclair, because for this final scene, she in there toasting some bagels. And she ends up on the phone being herself, okay? And as she's on the phone, that toaster go to toastering. And exactly what Overton was explaining to her earlier is exactly what starts to happen. And some things done had a mishap in that toaster. Them bagels is now burnt to a crisp because thing about caught on fire. She got to extinguish it and all types of carrying on. A mess. Now, as I have said before, and as it's low-key already known by a lot of people, most people, Girlfriends is very similar to this show, on down to similar storylines and such. So there is also a similar storyline on one of the episodes of Girlfriends where, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering right, it's Joan and Tony, and I think Tony wanted to know if it was okay to date Joan's ex, and she did, and kind of turned into a whole thing. Now, I would say, and as I said in the last review, that I appreciate the conflict resolution that happens on this show, because they actually resolve the conflict. Everybody took accountability, acknowledged their faults, said they were sorry, and then they set boundaries going forward to not only heal that particular situation, but to also help evolve the relationships and help prevent going backwards, and help prevent from those feelings coming back up and causing more issues later, because it was actually resolved. on girlfriends, there is little resolve when it comes to their conflict. It's a whole lot of passive aggression, lack of accountability, and just like being complacent to how things have always been. Like Tony has always been selfish, Joan has always acted spineless, and so nothing gets resolved. They just be like, okay, we gonna move on. I still want to be your friend, and that's just it. And you can see how those relationships were affected by that going forward, because their stuff just end up stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking until it basically tore apart Tony and Joan's whole friendship. All this stuff just stacked on top of each other and fucking tainted it type shit. So yeah, like I said, I appreciate the conflict resolution that I have been witnessing with this friend group. Highly appreciate it. And this was a good, fun, funny episode. I love the chemistry between Max and Regine. Even though they're like opposites and they're usually on opposing thoughts and opinions and whatnot, they also have a lot in common. And so the actresses too play very well off of each other. And I really appreciate that. And I really feel like that was perfectly shown in this episode, how well they are able to bounce off of each other and play off of each other type shit. And I appreciate all of the comic relief things that were going on here. It's always great to see Overton. My only critique though is, like I said, I'm not a big fan of humorizing, if you will, or making light of SA and stuff like that in general. But like I said, there's a consistency of it being made a joke when it comes to men, specifically in sitcoms from the 90s. I noticed that there was like a trend of that. I think there's also, I didn't watch Martin like that, but I do kind of vaguely have a memory, if I'm remembering correctly, of there being some sort of sexual harassment going on towards one of the men, from a woman towards one of the men on the show Martin. There was also some sexual harassment towards men on The Fresh Prince. Quite a few shows from the 90s, specifically black shows from the 90s, to my knowledge, that have a lot of humorization of sexual assault and sexual harassment towards men. And I feel like that has done a disservice, especially as it concerns like the modern day of things. And how things have played out since then, I feel like it's done a disservice. Now granted, I'm not putting all the blame off on the writers of the sitcoms, because it had to come somewhere first. They didn't just pull that idea out of their ass. There had to be something that was going on in real life. There had to already be some sort of societal consistency of humorizing sexual assault towards men and stuff before they had it to write it. You know what I'm saying? So once again, I'm not putting it all off on the shows, but I'm just saying it didn't help. It didn't help. And there was some real good styling and profiling going on in this episode, as well as it concerns everybody's fashion. Everybody was looking real good. There was some very intentional uses of the color red and the color green. And red can be associated with masculine energy. So think about when I was discussing Max being a bit overactive and her masculine energy, then also them, fighting over a man, basically their argument and everything being surrounding this man. And then green, which is associated with the heart space and love and relationships and all of that, but it can also be associated with jealousy. So there was a lot of jealousy going on in this episode as well. So just some things that I wanted to point out there. And I will tap into like the rest of those things, like the fashions and the color coding and all of that, in separate videos after I get through the whole first season. I'll do that type stuff for this show. But yeah, honey, I enjoyed myself, and I hope y'all did too. And with all that being said, y'all, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry, and I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you feel synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe, so that you could be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.